Hi there, I'm Java Jim with First Line Equipment. How you doing today? I hope you're having a great day and making the best of it as you can, just as I try every day. One of my lines here at First Line Equipment and even at home with my kids, my wife, is you need to learn something new every day. And I make sure every employee at First Line learns something new every day. That's what life's about, is learning. And learning also about great espresso machines and great espresso. And what do we have in front of us today? The Marzocco GS3 with the paddle. And you're probably seeing a lot of videos with this. And we're a little late to the game, but that's okay. Because I'm going to go over some other things that maybe others haven't covered. First and foremost, when you buy a machine that's this big, is the dimensions. The first dimension, what do you think sticks out? The height. And you're saying, oh my goodness, this looks like it's really high. It may not fit under my cupboards. So we got out our trusty ruler. And why do we have this one? Because it's really hard to measure with a tape measure from here down to there. So we have this bad boy right here, and we're about 15.5 inches in height maximum. Now, your cupboards may be sitting back here somewhere. What's important back here is we're about 12.5 to about 13.5, 13.25 right here at the top point, okay? Now we bring out our trusty ruler here for the wands, and we're about 15 there and 15 here. If we put these up to the maximum height, we're probably just shy of 16. So if you're back here, you should be pretty good here. Width, okay? Width is about 15.5 at the touch points back here. It is important to remember, do not pack this machine or any machine into an enclosed space. There needs to be some breathing room. Now, in big commercial machines, 2 groups, 3 group heads, this is the group head. Even single groups, they typically want 4 to 6 inches of airspace on both sides and in the back. The machine emits a lot of heat. And this one can emit some heat too. We have, I think, 1120 watts. It runs under about 10 amps. Standard 110 volt plug, so you don't need any adapter or what I call the 125 volt plugs. It's important to maintain some airspace, okay? Now, the machine does have plastic side panels here, right here. And you say, uh-oh, plastic? Actually, plastic helps keep it warm to the touch instead of piping hot. There's a message up here, hot surface, which for some people you can burn yourself. So this keeps it cooler on the sides. There's little wing nuts here. If you want to take the side panels off, little wing nuts come out 2 and 2, and basically you have access to the inside of the machine from the side if that's the route you want to go. Now, the machine typically comes with bubble wrap on the wand so it doesn't scratch in shipping, which brings up another point. These are shipped only on a pallet, okay? Only. They are not to be shipped UPS, not to be shipped FedEx, and definitely not to be shipped USPS, which is probably too heavy for them. The reason is the machine will damage. So when we ship it to you, it's coming on a pallet. If you decide to resell it or ship it in for service, it does need to go on a pallet, okay? And it ain't cheap, but it has to go on a pallet. The beauty is, like I said, the side panels are removable. It can be self-serviceable. Now, getting to the top here. Customers call and say, Jim, the top grate is white and blue. I wanted stainless. Guess what? This is peelable. It's just a film that will come on the machines. Okay, so there is a film. Another little note, this machine just arrived not too long ago, and found a little dust inside. So they can have a little bit of dust, I guess, from Marzocco in the state of Washington when they're testing. There's always dust in the warehouse and repair facility. It's really hard to manage. We try our best, but just to let you know, you may find a little bit, just a little, okay? Here we have our paddle group head, saturated group head, which Marzocco is world renowned for. Again, you have the protective bubble wrap on top. You have a warning here. You need the water fed to the machine, okay? And there's no water tank up here. And you can't have a water tank up here. The reason is this machine, even with the plastic side panels, is heavy, okay? And I'm a little bit stronger than little old grandma, and I can't move this thing. So just to let you know, they don't have the water reservoir up here. And where is it? It's tucked in behind the drip tray. The drip tray doesn't come out. You know why? Because it is locked, okay? And you have to lift up. And in here, there are little 2 polka dots that go in the holes in here. And then this locks in the drip tray. Pieces of tape that are put over the cover. Stainless steel. This may have the white film too, okay? So if you see it or don't be alarmed, might have the white film. There's a little card in here, okay? Scan that, gives you some information. Here we have a stainless steel cover on the outside, but the drip tray is plastic underneath, okay? There is a mechanism right here that you can remove the plug and also drain it, okay? You can plumb it and you can also drain it. And in here is our water reservoir, because you can't fill from the back. So you basically remove this, put in your water. This is the intake hose right here. It has a stainless steel pipe that goes into this inside, and that basically is where the water gets sucked and then pumped into the machine by the pump. So just keep that in mind. Nothing is dishwasher safe on any espresso machine, so don't toss this in the dishwasher. If you do get any mold or fungus buildup in here, a little bit of, you just disconnect the hose here, and basically you can, if you want, there's a little mechanism right here. I forget what you call these, but just a little bit of bleach with some water, that will usually clean it. Rinse it, and then some white vinegar to get rid of that odor in there, and then rinse it again, okay? So you don't want that Clorox or, I don't want to use that word because that's probably patented or copyrighted, but bleach, that smell coming up into your machine, okay? It is important to use softened water. Check out our website. Basically, we sell an Oscar pack. It's Oscar 90 or Oscar 150. I don't suggest putting it in here because it takes 15 hours for it to work. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Always keep the cover on there because you don't want the dust buildup in there. And this may lift off the brackets inside. I don't recommend it. I recommend getting this little clamp off here to disconnect if you need to take the water reservoir out. We shall now move on to the accessory box. Poof! Magically appeared the accessory box. And this is the current box that the machine comes in. And we take the back side or the front side of some scissors. You can use a knife. Just be careful not to dig in deep. Okay, we'll open this up. And we have a nice little introductory card here. Technical operation or questions. Marzocco has a nice hotline number. And then here we have the MSDS sheet on the Puro calf. Okay, that's typically the detergents. And Marzocco has their own on the Puro calf. And we have something secret in here. And we have our manual right here. And we have another manual here. Well, why are there two manuals? If you know, answer down below. Inside here, we have our kit also, some other components for a direct water connection right here. You may need an adapter. I suggest, like I do with every other machine, use the machine in tank mode for 3 weeks. Okay, the reason is waterline pressures can cause havoc, and the first thing everyone blames is the machine. Use it in tank mode, everything's working perfectly for 3 weeks, you got good water, then you plumb it in. I'll throw that on the floor. We have our filter baskets and blind filter insert. We have an Allen key here, we have some copper O-rings. We have two little rubber caps here. We have our drain hose with a brass fitting, and they were nice enough to put Teflon tape there. And then also we have our little lock here to connect the hose to the other side. So, and my terminology for these plumbing parts, because I'm not a plumber, is horrendous. And then we have our nice Marzocco portafilters. Okay, if you take a look there, nice feel to them. And also that's the single spout, and here's the dual spout. Very, very nice feel. Let's get started. So have you figured out what's in this bag yet? Guess what it is? Water test kit. Not going to show you how to use it, just read the instructions. I don't want to bore you to death, but please, please, please test your water. And the reason is you don't want lime scale inside this machine, which comes from magnesium and calcium. So test your water. That's what's in this kit right here. Now, you might not even notice in the accessory box, because it is a corrugated brown accessory box, you may not even notice that this little box is in there. It looks like it's part of the box. But in here is your nice tamper from La Marzocco. Okay, so just you have a tamper there. Your baskets that are included, 7, 14, 17, and 21 gram competition filter baskets. We have a blind, Allen key wrench, and the other magical item in this little plastic bags, two little plastic caps, which replace the two that are up here. Not the front one, the front one's a little different. And these just come out with your fingernails, and I keep mine pretty short. So we're gonna take this one out. So this one, these are narrow, these go on the side here. This one's in the front, no extra replacement for this one. It's for the two here that are on the side. Okay, the reason I took this off is there's basically like an air release valve in here. So when you're starting up the machine, you gotta kind of get this lever in the right spot. And there's basically an Allen key here, which is gonna sit into a screw, and there's an Allen key screw in there somewhere. Just have to seat it right. There we go. Oh, just had it. Okay. It's usually pretty easy, but not as easy as you think. So just to show you the difficulty level sometimes. Okay, there we go. See? A little bit of an angle. It can be difficult, and this basically just opens up the air release valve. So we'll get this, let's get this drip tray out. We'll get the water tank out. And again, test your water before you use it. Let's fill up the reservoir. Now I like to keep my pitcher readily available. The power switch, after you plug it in, is back here. So when you refill the tank and it's giving you the message or standby message, you can hit the O button here. Make sure the tank is inserted. Okay, the air release valve, if you get leakage up here, it means it's not on tight enough. Just learned another secret to share with you. You can look through the slot right here to see that the Allen key lines up with the screw, and just make sure it's really tight, because if it's not tight enough, you will have the leakage here. See the water that's come down? So you'd have to take the two caps here, get another Allen key wrench, which this one doesn't fit, you'd have to have your own. Take off the gauge, two screws here on the paddle. That needs to come out. This whole assembly comes out. You'll see a picture that comes up that basically will show water in there, and then you need to go inside and tighten it even tighter. So just in case that you can't tighten it enough from here, this whole assembly will have to come out. This is why I say use the machine in tank mode in case you have some issues. You don't have water gushing in from the water line, and you can power down the machine. Okay, so if you get a message about refilling the tank, which most likely will happen on the first fill, you basically refill the tank and get it back in here, and we do have the tank in there, and there's a micro switch. Okay, so you can hear the micro switch when you press up against there, and then the machine basically goes into heating. We make sure this is tight, get the cap, put that back on, and now the machine will heat up. So you take the top cover off, get on the inside, and there's two screws here which we already removed. Top cover comes off, and here we have our steam boiler, we have our coffee boiler. They're already starting to get warm. We have a solenoid valve here, another one which you can't see in here. The valves are basically, one's down there for the steam, and the hot water one seems to be right there. And in the middle, scrunched into this compact area, we have the motor down in there, and we have the pump right over here. And as you can see, insulated steam boiler, but not the coffee boiler. If you want to adjust the rotary pump pressure, we take off these little screw caps. 13mm socket will get you, and as you can see, I'm doing it by hand. Get you the nuts out. You might need a socket wrench if it is a little too tight, but I don't think it normally is. Get that out. And now you have access to the machine. If you want to take the other side off, you can. The top and the side, the back cover comes off. And then basically right here is a holding nut. Maybe a little difficult to see. There's a holding nut here which you need to loosen. And then the adjustment screw for the pump is right in here if you want to increase or decrease the pressure. The heating element is right here, and the safety, if the steam boiler doesn't work, there is a safety thermostat right here, and the coffee boiler, if that doesn't heat, the safety thermostat is also right here. So each boiler has its own safety thermostat. In case either one doesn't heat, that would be the first place to check. Okay, machine's still warming up. We'll continue on. Really nice feature on the GS3 is the expansion or the overpressure valve. So you can see it dripping here a little bit, but this is where you can control it. And go to your manual, page 14, and it'll show you which way to turn to increase or decrease. Okay, so go by this manual on which way to turn. And you will need, you could actually do it by hand, or you could use a little socket wrench and just increase or decrease the overpressure valve or what they call as the expansion valve. One thing I do recommend doing once per day is basically taking out about 4 ounces of water out of the boiler. This is just to keep the boiler nice and clean. The one thing to make sure is your cups are nice and hot and your portafilter's hot, so run some water. And as you can see, it can be difficult on a new machine to get the portafilter at the 6 o'clock angle there. So we have some heated cups. And the portafilter has to be so hot that you can't keep your hand on it. You could actually maybe see it steaming. So as you can see, the angle of the portafilter really levels out the basket. I do like the espresso filled to the rim of the basket. Take the tamper. As you watch my fingers, I push down just enough so the rim of the tamper is to the rim of the basket. Make sure it's nice and even, not crooked in any different angle. Let's load. Get our 2 hot cups. And then we start extracting espresso. Now the gauge is going up to about 9. And look at the pour. Amazing. Okay, if I want to pressure profile a little bit, it's pretty quick on the dial, so just a little bit of adjustment can go a long way on this. Okay, right now I'm at 3. Really good precise control here. And I got to open it up a little bit. 4 bar right around there, 4.5 bar. And my shot clock is showing about 38 seconds. And I'm going to stop at 41. I have this shot of espresso here. It is a very short pull. This is Miscela d'Oro coffee from Sicily, and this is probably one of the best tasting shots that I've tasted from this coffee. It's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely delicious. Let's move on to cappuccinos. So our boiler pressure is around 1.6, 1.7. First thing to do is bleed. Okay, see that little water coming out? You want to make sure you bleed. Get your steaming pitcher, about half a cup filled, and lock it into place. And this thing is mighty fast. Okay. Get rid of those big bubbles. Okay, as soon as it's warm to the touch, I like to stop, knock out the big bubbles. Look at that microfoam. And I am not a latte artist, so please don't blame me. And there we have our nice cappuccino with using Miscela d'Oro espresso coffee beans. Good. Just the way I like it. Nice and tasty. Thank you for watching our intro video to the Marzocco GS3 Manual Paddle Edition. Gives you some brew pressure profiling capabilities. Very, very responsive in that regard. Lots of steam power. Nice water wand, the dual boiler, rotary vane pump, and as I mentioned in the beginning, low profile on the height, pretty slim on the width, very compacted in there, but a fabulous machine. It's one that you want in your home because this is a really, really good machine. If you have any questions, please ask down below or click on the link to our website. We have a Q&A page there or a Q&A tab on the product page that you can ask any questions. And again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, and have a great Marzocco day.